welcome more Avatar The Last Airbender. This is episode 2 of season 2. Very excited to see what else we have in store after a really strong start to this second book, with some new characters being introduced, like Azula, who I think is going to be a really interesting character to watch and see how her arc unfolds. We have Zuko and Iroh truly on the run, and Aang and Co kind of on the way to see Boomy so he can learn some earthbending from him, which is really cool. Bit of trouble with the guy they had to deal with in the last one, but we've moved swiftly on, so hopefully they won't have too much trouble to deal with going forward. However, it's episode 1 of a 20 episode season, so I imagine there's going to be a bit more trouble yet. Yeah, I'm really excited as always to see what the show has in store, because we know by now I like it quite a bit, which is an understatement. So I'm really excited to continue, and let's just get into the next one. Oh my. If it was the Cave of One Lover, I'm not sure I'd want to watch it, to be fair.
See, if you move them closer together, you protect your center. You got it? Oh, yeah. You make a fine octopus, pupil Aang.
Oh my god.
Its leaves make a tea so delicious it's heartbreaking. That, or it's the white jade bush, which is poisonous.
Whoa, sounds like someone's got a case of destination fever.
Are these guys all high?
Too much about where you're going.
Focus less on the where and more on the going.
Oh, ma, shoe.
Sokka's right.
Forbidden from one another, war divides their people.
In small doses, these guys would be great, but I couldn't travel with them.
Splits them apart.
There would be several murders. This episode feels very no plot, just vibes, and I'm okay with it.
Remember that plant I thought might be tea?
You didn't.
I did. And it wasn't. No! When the rash spreads to my throat, I will stop breathing.
Oh, Jesus.
Look what I found!
I love that he's like just
Earth Kingdom discovers us.
in such a bad situation being a fugitive, but he's still like, I'll risk death and being caught for tea.
Earth Kingdom it is.
Who are you going to bump into?
All you need to do is trust in love. Well, according to the curse.
I mean, the last girl he kind of like is now, you know, the moon, so.
So all you need is to trust in love to get through these caves?
That is correct, Master Arrowhead.
Yeah, he trusts in it just fine.
Everyone into the hole!
That's what she said.
Just close them in. The mountain will take care of the rest.
You gotta make sure, people. It's the big mistake.
I'm gonna make a map to keep track of exactly where we've been. Then we should be able to solve it like a maze and get through.
I love it when they show how smart he is.
Do you have names?
Names? Of course we have names. I'm
Wuko.
Why don't you stay for dinner?
sorry, but we need to be moving on.
That's too bad. My mom always makes too much roast duck.
Where do you live exactly?
The tunnels are changing.
Oh. Well, can they not?
That was the last time I saw my father.
I haven't seen my father in many years.
Oh.
We just need to fall in love with the cave. Oh. That's going to be difficult with the weird bat thing. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Whew. They were nearly very underground then.
But at least you have us.
He could not think of anything worse. You have Momo though. That's something.
They've hurt me too.
Aww. I love that Sokka's actually like 80 years old. If only he already known earthbending, this would have been easy. Flashback memories.
They
Down
met on top of the
after.
mountain that divided their two villages. The villages were enemies, so they could not be together.
Ah,
But their love was strong.
Romeo and
They found
Juliet.
a way. But one day the man didn't come. He died in the war between their two villages.
Oh. I love the art style for this.
Unleashed a terrible display of her earthbending power.
Oh,
She could
don't
have
love
destroyed
that.
them all. The woman's name was Oma, and the man's name was Shu.
Omashu.
The great city was named Omashu as a monument to their love.
Oh.
We're thinking of ideas? Because I've had an idea for like an hour now.
Yes! We're all thinking of ideas.
These guys.
Love is brightest in the dark, and has a picture of them kissing.
Where are you going with this?
Well,
I think you're gonna like it.
what if we kissed?
Us kissing?
Us kissing? What was I thinking? Can you imagine that?
Explicitly, yes. I think you can.
I want to kiss you.
Oh, well, I didn't realize it was such a horrible option.
Interesting that that was Katara's idea, though.
I know you don't think there's any hope left in the world, but there is hope. The Avatar has returned.
I know.
What are you doing? These people just showed you great kindness.
They're about to show us a little more kindness. Well,
Oh boy. Aww. And that's how Sokka became Batman. It's always a bigger fish. There's the fish. Oh, there are many fish. Oh no. Oh, this is bad. Aw.
That must be the way out!
So,
Let's go.
Talk about that some other time.
how did you guys get out?
just like the legend says, we let love lead the way.
Really? We let huge, ferocious beasts lead our way.
That works too.
I think that kid might be the Avatar.
So, are you guys gonna come to Omashu with us?
Nope.
Okay. Thanks for everything.
Sokka,
I really like these guys.
learned a little something.
The Earth Kingdom city of
Oh shit. I thought that was a bit too easy getting there. Well, damn. Okay, another really great episode. I suppose we can start with the whole Zuko and Iroh story first, I suppose. I really enjoyed seeing how they're, maybe not so well on Iroh's part, trying to adapt to, being fugitives on the run. Obviously Zuko is very exasperated with the whole thing as well. He's like, oh, I'm not made for this. And Iroh's still trying his best and trying to make the most of the situation, even if that then gets him poisoned with a plant. So it makes sense that they're going to struggle along the way, of course, because they're not used to kind of the life of luxury that they did have when they had their own fleet and their own ship and everything. So let's say a glimpse of that and to see them, to an extent, able to befriend some others who are helping them out. Iroh's always been very good at that anyway. Zuko not so much. He's kind of a bit, keeps a distance from that kind of thing in a type of bonding whatsoever. Except for Iroh on occasions, I would imagine. But a lot of that obviously stems from who his family is. So I like seeing that kind of get explored a bit, seeing them in their disguises and being offered food and all that help. And I think the real telling scene outside of Zuko stealing their ostrichy horse transport thing was the scene between, I think it was Song was her name, which I also like, that Song was kind of a major character in that subplot as the name of someone, and then with everything Aang and Co were kind of dealing with in this episode, You know, part of the key for, in particular, Sokka to kind of get out and quite literally see the light was the songs that all those guys were singing as well that kind of got them out of some sticky situations. So I like how, you know, there was a crucial song/songs in both kind of main stories running in this episode, whether it's, you know, a literal song or a person. So I thought that was quite a cool little detail as well. And it was nice to see her try and bond with Zuko a bit. Obviously, we have no idea how they would have responded if they'd known who they really were, because I imagine they probably would have heard of Zuko and Iroh. But I like that she saw Sokka's kind of scar and then showed that she also got one from the Fire Nation as well. I think that was kind of a big, harsh reminder for Zuko of, you know, what the Fire Nation can do and what happened to him as well. And I think some of the reason why the end, when they stole the thing, the ostrichy thing, why that came about, perhaps it didn't help that she mentioned the Avatar right before he left, which is obviously a bit of a sore spot for him, so that he probably acted out in anger of that as well. But, you know, he had a scar from the Fire Nation, you know how he was treated by them, even though he was like their prince. So I think he also saw her scar, and because that's kind of all he knows, because he knows how he was treated in that way, in a sense he treated her like that, whether purposefully or not, and kind of betrayed the kindness and trust they showed them and stole the ostrich thing, because that's just how he was treated, that's how, you know, that's how he knows it to be, so he treated others like that as well. And it was good that they actually showed Song watching them ride off and like didn't actually try and stop them, but she obviously looked a bit disappointed and sad with it, but accepting nonetheless, which is kind of sad in a way. Maybe they're just used to being trodden all over by people like the Fire Nation and stuff. Little did they know exactly who they were kind of, you know, being hospitable towards throughout the whole episode. So I liked everything with that, and Iroh's reluctance after the kindness they've been shown to still like nick their thing, nick the ostrich. But, you know, when Zuko's made up his mind, I guess that's it. And, you know, there's already a risk of them splitting up and going their separate ways in the last episode, and they ended up needing to stay together to survive. So, of course, Iroh's going to have to stick with Zuko and protect him as best he can. But I like that there's still that reluctance there. And I think that's something Zuko will probably learn more and more as time goes on. As he realises that there are actually more kind people on the planet than just his uncle. So that's probably the only nice person Zuko has known his entire life. So it's probably a bit weird to kind of accept that, you know, there may be that when it comes to other people. So I think back to one of my favourite scenes in the show so far, was last season when Aang was talking to Zuko, saying, you know, we could have been really good friends in like different circumstances if we were both growing up at the same time. And the way Zuko responded to that again was to try and like attack Aang and kidnap him all over again, acting out from that kind of kindness and sympathy that Aang was trying to show Zuko, that understanding. And Song was very much in the same boat, trying to relate to him and understand him, comfort him, I guess, in a way, ease him. And he still acted out against her ultimately because he just doesn't know better yet, and I think that's going to be part of his arc. So I'm really looking forward to seeing if that's where they're going with that. But regardless, it was cool to catch up with those guys and see how life is on the run as fugitives for them. And again, the whole character called Song versus the songs that the nomads were all singing this one, I thought that was quite clever. As is like the legend of the lovers, I like that we got a lot of lore surrounding these two lovers, and meeting up in a cave with, you know, lights or crystals in the ceilings and lighting their way to each other, and the fact that Omashu is named after these two lovers. I really liked that, and obviously then the cliffhanger ending. Oh dear. I'm sure. I at least hope Boomy's going to be alright. He's probably being captured or something. Although, how do you imprison an Earthbender? That'd be quite something. Maybe he's like a fugitive on the run as well, I'm not sure. I'm sure we'll get a bit more of that. I imagine the next episode will be quite a diversion to be like, well, Omashu's probably gone, let's not even bother going in there, let's leave. I imagine they will still go and see what it's all about, try and win it back from the Fire Nation. I think that's probably going to be at least what the next episode or two is, I imagine, are going to be about. But we'll see how Omashu has changed if the Fire Nation have kind of taken it over and it's fallen to them. But I liked that cliffhanger ending as well, because it is very simple, like, well, we had to deal with that, sure, but we're here now, and oh dear. But I'm also quite glad that they didn't spend like half a season trying to get to Omashu, because that would have been like, oh come on, just get there already. So the fact that they actually did get there at the end of episode 2 is good, like pacing wise. So I'm excited to see how they're going to explore what went down there and maybe even show what happened. That could be cool. But yeah, I liked the whole idea of them bumping into the nomads, learning about this cave from them, because the other path that Appa would have taken them on probably would not have ended well for them. So it was cool to see them all go in together, and I actually liked those nomad characters quite a bit. Again, in real life, I probably would be in Sokka's shoes and just want to absolutely kill them in the dark cave where no one would know. So he's in prime position there. So really, that shows some good sense of self-control, that he didn't just like smash their guitars in or whatever with a rock just to stop them singing. But it did prove to be how they got out of their mess. So that was cool to see Sokka just be completely done with them all. But I think as characters, they had a few funny moments. I liked the vibe they gave off. You know, a really stark contrast to Sokka in particular, and also that's obviously why they paired them together and split up into little groups so that he could have that thing going on with those two, and then Katara and Aang could kiss in a much less awkward way because Sokka doesn't need to be around to see it. So I liked how they kind of handled all that, and just their kind of chill vibe, not really caring about anything, is an interesting contrast to Aang and that group who, you know, it's been stress after stress for them really, and not much downtime. So I liked the parallels between how different groups of people in this world will go about their lives and go about their journeys. Those folks just seem to be like, well, we'll go where the music takes us, literally just vibing, whereas the others have places to be and deadlines to meet. So I liked that contrast quite a bit, and the fact that they still ended up working well together, because they quite literally had the instruments that saved the day, and Sokka accidentally discovered it and was trying to do the charge. Again, I liked that he was showing some level of intelligence, being like, well, we can just like backtrack and I can mark out a map as we go, but he didn't count on the maze thing changing all around. We got some cool creatures in there as well, like the wolf bats I thought were cool, and then the big mole things as well, that tied into the flashbacks because they're like OG earthbenders I suppose, and they taught the lovers how to earthbend. Everything with that, switching art styles to show that flashback, the story of the two lovers. I feel like they did something similar. What was the episode called? It was the one a lot of people aren't that fond of, I think, with the two rival tribes, and they did like flashbacks to different stories about how their leaders fell out or something, and I think they used different art styles for those flashbacks as well. So it's cool that they keep that up and do something different with every art style when they flash back and tell like a legendary story. So that was really fun. I liked the art style in particular they used for this one. And some major hints, I guess, that Aang and Katara really are probably going to be a thing. Maybe later on down the line, I'm not sure when. Obviously we did have like a whole episode kind of about Aang's side of things last season. He clearly kind of has a thing for her, and at the end of that episode, Katara maybe have gotten a bit of a glimpse, like, oh, maybe, you know, Aang is this future powerful airbender that I might end up with at some point, and clearly that's been on her mind, because she was getting a bit shy and, you know, blushed around him, and it was her idea in the first place to suggest that they kiss to see if that would work, because they believed in love, you know. I feel like if there wasn't something there, it wouldn't have worked at all. So that was a really cool way of exploring that a bit, but there's still a lot going on. Katara very much still has her priorities in check, which is why I think she very quickly dismissed Aang, being like, well, can we talk about that for a minute? Like, no, you're literally 12, goodbye. And obviously Katara's only like 14 or something herself, isn't she? She's quite young still as well. So there's a lot going on, there's a lot of time to deal with all that stuff, but it's cool that they may be sowing the seeds for something to explore there, continuing on from what they were doing last season with that potential pairing as well. And I quite like the idea of them together. I think they'd be quite sweet. And clearly there must be, you know, some kind of connection there for this whole thing to play out. So I like how they set up, you know, a little story arc in an episode like this last season to show that Aang very much had feelings for Katara, and Katara may have maybe made a note of, oh, maybe I could see him in a romantic sense at some point, and that's, she's had time to let that digest, I guess, and simmer a bit. So if it had just been this episode, and this is the first time they kind of linked them, probably still would have worked, but it might have still been like, oh, that was okay, I guess we're pairing those two now. But they set it up nicely last season and explored it in this, so I'm sure we'll see a bit more of that, and I can't wait to see what Sokka's reaction is going to be when he kind of gets more of a sense that those two might be romantically involved at some point. I'm sure that'll be fun. I'm sure he'll take it very nicely and level-headedly, as he always does with everything. So yeah, I liked the whole plotline with that, and Sokka still being very stubborn. It's not like they got out of that situation. He was like, oh, you guys are great, your songs are great. He was still kind of really annoyed by them in the end, and like, oh, just go, please. Not one to often admit that he's wrong, and maybe try and be a bit more accepting. He's still like, well, they're still annoying, they can go away now. So I like that in a sense he didn't learn a lesson, and he doesn't necessarily need to. You know, music isn't for everyone, it's very subjective, I get it. But personally I really like those Nomad group, and they tend to bring back some unexpected characters, so I would like to check in with those guys again maybe at some point. That'd be quite fun. But yeah, I think they tied everything well together really nicely. I liked the character of Song versus the songs and the other storyline. Everything with that was cool. The potential for Zuko's character to grow and change and expand his world, to actually realise that a lot of people are actually quite nice. That'd be cool. The Aang and Katara thing they're exploring, I'm looking forward to seeing when/if they touch on that again. And yeah, it was just like a fun, kind of relaxing episode in a sense, aside from all the scary creatures and being trapped in a cave. You know, that's not ideal by any means. But it was kind of a nice little chill-ish time before we got to that ending, and there's going to be like a big story beat now, like what we're going to do about Omashu, and to get like a bit of an origin for Omashu just in time for us to return there and see what's all going down, which is a cool setup for future episodes, I would imagine. So yeah, another really fantastic episode. I loved everything they had going on with it, and as ever I look forward to seeing where they're going to go with it next. But that's going to be everything for now, and until my next reaction, thanks for watching.